We're back.
And welcome back. It is Radio Nowhere.
Is this one? No, it's this one.
It's that one. Yeah, that one. Put that one away.
There we go. I didn't know if I was going to be in stereo or not.
You could try that. That might sound kind of cool.
It might not.
Okay. Oh, well, never mind then.
Anywho.
Welcome.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm fine, Matt. And you?
Good, Matt.
Good, Matt. And there's only two of us here.
I know. It would be more fun if Liebarger was about, because then we could also call him Matt.
Matt.
We're more prone to call him Funky, so maybe not.
And, well, we'll just leave off the rest of the nicknames that people tend to call each other up here.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and this is another hour of Radio Nowhere, and we hope everyone out there is doing well as well.
And this is a themed hour.
I know. It's rare that we kind of do the themes, but we might start a little bit.
So we are going to try and eat our way through the Oh, wait, no, that's not that theme.
We've done that already.
Actually, we haven't, but we've tried.
No,
we've tried.
You've tried.
Anyhow.
So we decided we are going to, this episode is called Side 1, Track 1, and we just picked some albums, and we are playing the first track off of the album. So it would have been Side 1 of the record, first track that you hear, and that's what you're going to hear all night. And some of these, we're going way back. Actually, when I started here, we still used records for some things.
The Dick Clark Show?
The Dick Clark Show, and there were a couple other shows.
That came on big...
Like a 70s show, maybe?
Maybe, because when my first shift was they just kicked the satellite on for the oldies show. And it was such a dodgy thing that they made sure that you were kind of prepared in case something happened.
And even though it was a satellite show, someone here
still had to physically turn it on and off to play local commercials. The weather, news, the local elements.
And this is where I learned cue up a record, which is put the needle down right where you want to start it, and then back it up a quarter turn. So that way it doesn't go when you start it up. So there's a little bit of insight.
Insider knowledge in case you find a time machine and become a DJ.
And end up DJing. And see, we think we're doing old school by playing
CDs.
Things from CDs. So our theme tonight is and some of these are going to be famous records, and some of them might not be. Some of these songs you might recognize, some of them you might not, but that's kind of our mandate here on Radio Nowhere. The first song we heard, Sunday Bloody Sunday, from U2's third album, War. And that is what is it good for?
Absolutely.
Well, absolutely this album. This album is a great album.
Okay.
And then one of your personal favorites.
Yeah, Pearl Jam and Once, which is off their album 10, which is kind of their seminal album.
Mm-hmm. And that is what I call it, the fancy pants version.
Yeah, I got the anniversary one because I never actually bought the regular version.
Like the original issue?
Yeah.
And see, I just assume for people our age, that was like issued at a certain point.
Yeah. Somehow I missed out on that, I guess.
Like you graduate from high school and, well, wasn't high school, I guess.
No, because
wait a minute, 92. I graduated in 92.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college that Smells Like Teen Spirit became a radio hit.
And what year was that?
That was 91, 92.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, and I was going to say that actually is Nirvana's Nevermind and Pearl Jam's 10 album I just thought were issued with high school diplomas at the time.
I think they were. I just was a year late.
You just
early, I guess.
Just missed out on that one.
But, those two artists, by the way, you won't be hearing in San Francisco this weekend.
Nirvana,
Pearl Jam.
And who else won't we be hearing in San Francisco?
Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, Heart.
Well, you wouldn't be hearing Temple of the Dog. Well, okay. Okay. Heart. Who else? Mudhoney.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else is famous Seattle artists.
Well, a better question, I guess. Why won't we be hearing them?
Well, it seems the radio stations of San Francisco have taken umbrage to the policy of the Seattle Seahawks, who are not allowing anyone with a California address to buy tickets to this Sunday's playoff game between the 49ers and the Seahawks. So, as a retaliation, San Francisco is not going to play any music by anyone from Seattle or that was made famous by Seattle.
So, how do they know not to sell them tickets? I mean,
I guess when you fill out where they get mailed to, or I guess your billing address, I would guess. I don't know. Maybe they're asking for ID. They're carding you.
now
Are you Northwestern enough to buy these tickets?
And see, and this is, I don't follow sports at all. So Tackett has been explaining a little bit of this to me about, and tell me about the fans.
The fans of Seattle are downright crazy. There's the Seattle Sea-Hulk, who is a everyday. You would think that he was paid by the team to do what he does.
And go Google that if you don't believe us.
Yeah, because he looks just like the Incredible Hulk. He really does. He looks like Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk.
And I thought, actually, when you brought up the pictures, I thought it was like a guy in a suit, and then he'd painted his face green. But
no, he used to, when he was in his prime, he was a competition bodybuilder, and he's kept in extraordinarily good shape.
and he's in good enough shape to go shirtless and paint his body green.
Yeah, he spends, I guess, from what I had read before, and I can't exactly remember the number, but it's somewhere along the lines of he spends somewhere in the neighborhood of like $300 to $400 to get painted up that way.
$300 to $400
every week for the paint job to make him green.
Are you sure it's every week? That doesn't sound right.
That's what I thought I read.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you figure there's only 8 home games. And if you have season tickets, you're probably spending that much or more on your tickets. I mean,
Okay.
He has pretty decent seats. He's end zone, so.
Okay, and I get that.
And he's a big fan. Maybe,
I get that.
Maybe instead of, buying 15 beers at the game, which would probably be about $300, he just gets greened up.
I'm going to assume, for just a moment here,
Dangerous.
I'm going to assume you're wrong. You're way off in your estimate. How many home games?
8.
8 home games. I'm going to assume you're off, and the number is only $100. That's still ridiculous. He's paying more to paint his body green than I paid for my first car.
You only paid $100 for your first car?
$100 a game is what I'm saying. $800.
Oh, okay.
So, that is. We're at it. That's more than most people's monthly car payments, probably.
2 games a month on average, every other week on average.
I'm talking about the total.
Oh, okay, yeah, the total.
$800.
He's a big fan.
I realize that, but how do you fit that into your budget? I don't mean how do you fit it in your budget. I mean, how do you do that line in your budget of
just fan appreciation?
Okay.
I would hope that somehow, some way, and he's been doing this for 6 or 7 years. I mean, this is not just like this year he went, hey, we got a pretty good team. Hey, what if I painted myself green?
And you got to wonder what makes someone start that. And look, I'm just not a sports guy. I don't get a lot of the fanaticism. I'm more of a movie guy.
But if you had the opportunity to get like a really awesome $400, I'm trying to think of a good example.
Darth Vader costume.
I was going to say Batman suit.
Either one. That's a pretty much toss-up there.
I mean, I think you'd be inclined to go for it.
I think I would spend twice that. Oh, yeah. Badlands. Bruce Springsteen there. I'm always happy if I can play a Bruce Springsteen song.
I guess.
You know I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan?
I do.
And honestly, it was kind of difficult to choose. But I figured we've played Born to Run. We've played Born in the USA. We've played what was it? We played one of his Blinded by the Light. So I didn't think we'd play Badlands, and that is Badlands from Darkness on the Edge of Town. And I wanted to play that so I could talk a little bit because he has a new album out this week.
I saw that, which, the funny thing is I saw an ad, like a pop-up ad, not pop-up, but, online ad for the new album by, and I could have swore it said Bruce Willis. And I was like, what?
And I'm just going to throw a quick review out there real quick because I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. It is not so much an album as it is him but he kind of is revisiting some of his older songs. And he has revisited, I think, of the 14 on there, 8 of them have Tom Morello on there from Rage Against the Machine.
Guitarist.
Yeah, and guitarist on there. And here's the weird thing about it. And you see this in other reviews, and it's true. It doesn't sound so much like an album as it does a collection of really good songs, really cool songs.
Okay. Like almost a greatest hits sort of vibe, but
kind of
without it actually the greatest hits.
Pretty much. So the songs, I love all but maybe 2 of them from what I've heard. I mean, and those 2 are just okay. And then everything else I think is great. I mean, they've got some great cover or re-recordings of his stuff on there. But as an album, it's the same way that you can't really listen to a greatest hits collection and say, "Oh, that was a great album." Well, of course it's a great album. It's all their singles.
Right.
And it's less of an album, more of a collection of good songs. And check sometime, and I'll probably bring it up here and play it sometime. Tom Morello on Ghost of Tom Joad.
Okay, yeah.
Have you heard that version?
I don't know that I have, but
which is kind of a neat. It has kind of a neat life because it started off as a Bruce Springsteen song. Rage Against the Machine covered it, and then he started doing a live version. I think this is how it goes. He started doing a live version that was more kind of in step with the way Rage Against the Machine did it, and then Tom Morello started performing it like they did it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay, yeah,
concert.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they did that, and they've done a couple other. I mean, he sat in on the Magic Tour. Tom Morello did, and
one would hope Bruce Springsteen did.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen was there as well. And so there's a live version floating around of it. So this has been performed live with Tom Morello for several years, and now they've just, I guess, officially laid down a track for it.
Huh.
So I'll bring that up and play that.
Just thinking
sometime.
Of the oddity that would be Bruce Springsteen's special guest Bruce Springsteen.
With special guest Bruce Springsteen. Also appearing, Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, we forgot to introduce the other song we played.
And the other song was The Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin 3. And these are all side 1, track 1. So they are songs that lead off an album. And, I am a big Bruce Springsteen fan.
You are.
But not enough to call myself what would you call me? The Hulkstein? Where I'm going to get all ripped and paint my body green like we were talking about earlier.
Right, the Seattle Sea Hulk.
The Seattle Sea Hulk. And we were curious, so we looked it up. And what did we find out?
We found out that he does spend approximately $350 every week. And that there's a home game to get his body painted. And he lives 220 miles away from Seattle. So he says with tickets, travel, the paint job, and incidental expenses, he figures he drops $2,000 every weekend the Seahawks are in town.
And he says that what he really wants, and by the way, this information is coming to us from MindNorthwest.com, and he says his game day starts at 3 a.m., and he drives at 220 miles, gets the paint job, and then comes back down to the game, and it takes him 3 hours.
Correct.
And like you said, $2,000, and it says that he has a prime seat to the game on Saturday.
Sunday. That's probably
that's an older
from last
article.
week.
Okay, yep, sorry.
But no, anyway.
It says what he wants is a ticket for the Super Bowl, which he figures will cost him between $7,000 and $13,000, and he says that's going to be tough. I paid $3,300 for an end zone seat in 2005, and I could see myself doing that again, but $13,000, I'm just a construction worker. I'm not rich.
Yet he spends how much per week?
He spends approximately $2,000.
The quote in that story I like the best. It's not necessarily that we have the exact quote, but he used to have his wife do the paint job, and he said that he still does a little bit of competitive bodybuilding, and the winter was his off season, and he started working out harder for the Seahawks games to get ripped and toned. And he decided that his wife wasn't doing a good enough job painting him, and that's why he went with the guy who spends $350 on him.
Well, and I guess if you're going to do it right.
You got to at least in some strange way admire the commitment to something of that level.
Tackett, when we started the show tonight, did you think this is what we were going to be talking about?
With you and I sitting here, the odds of us talking about the upcoming football action this weekend, not once but twice, little suspect.
Yeah, and although now you're a big sports fan, you follow sports.
I'm generally a sports. I don't think you can classify me as a big sports.
Well,
fan,
you're not a fanatic, but you were talking about how you listen to ESPN in the car a lot,
right?
And I'm a big comic book fan, so actually maybe this is the perfect topic.
True.
I mean. So, and just to close this out, and obviously sports fans are going to find this funnier than I did, but Tackett, what's the comment? Why do you think it actually won't cost him between $7,000 and $13,000 for a ticket to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, one of the anonymous, it was they allowed web comments, and they said, the reason that it'd be funny that he would spend that much is he would look out of place because the Seahawks won't be there.
Ba-da-bum.
Although I really kind of think they will, but personally,
I was going to leave that on the joke and end on the joke and go right into
weather.
Yeah. So looks like our forecast, and usually
chance of green.
Our producer.
Where is Steve Stein?
I have no idea. He has let us down again.
He wasn't here last week. Neither was I, but I think I was out of town.
Yeah, no, he wasn't here last week. He's not here this week.
No wonder it's running so.
Yeah, everything's running really smoothly, so that's good. Today, the forecast calls for it to be clear, high of only 41. Tonight, clear, low of 31. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 37. Now, going to WJBDradio.com, if you check, there is a special weather statement issued, and it's saying the combination of light precipitation this evening and temperatures falling below freezing may produce icy spots on some roads during the overnight hours, while roads with salt residue will likely remain wet. Untreated side roads, parking lots, and sidewalks could become slick. Motorists should remain alert for rapidly changing road conditions. And we can attest to that, since when we pulled up here into the parking lot was already
slick,
kind of frozen.
Yeah,
so,
I think the first thing I said to you was, Matt, you want to watch out. It's a little slick out there.
Yes. and to think Uncle Brucey didn't even warn us.
No, and why wouldn't he?
I don't know.
Whoa.
Uncle Brucey's Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week.
I don't know about anyone else, but that never gets old.
Oh gosh, that's what I want played at my retirement.
Well, Bruce Kropp, Uncle Brucey, sends us his pick of the week every week, a song he would like to hear, and we didn't clue him into the theme, so unfortunately it's going to not be the side one, track one. However, it is the lead single.
Close.
From the album it came from, yes. So the album was the self-titled Christopher Cross album. Actually, you know what? I can start this, because do you remember playing this song back in the radio days?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got plenty of time.
We got a long time. We've got a long intro.
I think it's
to talk over. I want to
45.
I was going to say 34. Yeah. But Bruce said this is just a good, old-fashioned 80s rock tune. It's Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind. It's Uncle Brucey's Pick of the Week here on Radio Nowhere, 100.1 FM, WJBD.
Full service, 100.1 FM, WJBD. Toad the Wet Sprocket, my personal. I don't know. I don't know if they're probably they're in my top three, and because I just can't bring myself to rank everyone. So
Pearl Jam, Toad the Wet Sprocket,
Toad,
and
I don't know
who fills? I mean, not in order, but who fills that?
I don't know who the third in the top three would be. So I've got a top two then.
You got at least a top two.
But anyway, that was from In Light Syrup and that song Brother.
Great song. And it's a great band, and they were great live. We saw them live 2 years ago now.
Thank you.
Got to meet the band, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was at the pageant in St. Louis, which was a great place to see a show.
Oh, very much so.
Not that we own stock in the pageant. But.
Well, no. But if I'm going to go see a show at this point, I'd rather go see it at the pageant than like a big stadium show.
Yeah.
For the most part. There's a few exceptions. But, yeah, pageant, good show. And they put on a good show as well.
I would say maybe They Might Be Giants might be in that top three. But
or at least in your top five?
They would definitely be in the top five.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. Well, we were talking about Steve Stein not being here with us tonight.
Did we talk about the other song we played?
Well, no, but that was Uncle Brucey's Pick of the Week.
Okay, so
it got a lot of attention
anyway.
Good
deal.
And that was Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind. And we were talking about, which, by the way, it was 34 seconds on the intro.
Oh, nice. Good job.
And not only did we nail the intro, but I was telling Tackett that I almost ruined it and just turned the mic back on and went, nailed the intro!
Which would have been funny in its own right.
Yes. So we were talking about Steve Stein.
Correct. Who is our producer.
Our absentee producer.
I don't know if you can see me winking.
Yes. A producer. I'm doing the quote marks with my fingers.
They're called air quotes.
Air quotes. There you go. I'm doing air quotes with my fingers. And
is my mic on?
No. And so we had this ongoing email where we were talking about, okay, we're doing side one, track one.
Which, again,
is the first side of an album, and it's the first song on the first side, so it's a lead track.
Which, with a CD, there is only one side.
True. And so Steve sent us, speaking of personal favorites, and we've talked on the air about this before, especially at the time, which is songs from 87, Steve would have been his number one, Debbie Gibson, Only in My Dreams, on Radio Nowhere here on WJBD.
This is his request?
Yes, he requested this.
Did he know the rules?
Yeah, I put it in the email. What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm not a Debbie Gibson like Wikipedia, but
right.
I didn't think this was the first track on that album. Wasn't it on Into the Blue?
Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue.
Yeah, it's Out of the Blue.
Sorry.
Hold on, let me look this up real quick. Let's see. Debbie Gibson. You might be right.
I just, something doesn't sit well with me on this.
Okay, Debbie Gibson, Out of the Blue. And you'd think as our producer, he would look into this kind of stuff.
Well, maybe he did. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, let me find that. I mean, the song I like the song, but I don't know that. All right, here we go. Out of the Blue, Wikipedia, and it's got a track listing, and he wanted to hear. Oh no, this is track 3.
Track 3. We can't play this then.
No, we aren't going to play this.
No,
we can't.
I mean, Uncle Brucey gets a little special dispensation, but that's
well, he does run the station. He does allow us to have the show.
So what was the number one track? The title track.
The first track on the album, Out of the Blue, was also the song Out of the Blue.
Okay. Yeah, that seems more right.
Well, it's a title track, right?
True.
Title track. It's the the lead song in there. So that's what it is.
And Steve likes this song.
Oh, Steve loves Debbie Gibson. He loves all of her tunes. So
Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue on Full Service 100.1 FM, WJBD.
I hate to interrupt again.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Steve didn't request this one. And I'm not, against Debbie Gibson, but
I like this song, too, actually.
I just assume here's something else, I think. If he didn't request it.
Well, one, he made a mistake with his first request. And then, two, he didn't actually want to hear this song.
Yeah, he may not like this one.
Oh, I don't want to make him mad.
No.
Okay, well, that one's off then. Sorry, Steve.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
We'll make sure he knows the rules better next time.
Now, it's funny because one of our good friends, Terry Christensen,
who has done a lot of work for the show.
Yeah, if you hear the fantastic intro that we have on Radio Nowhere, if you hear our liners and our commercials and our different intros from time to time.
Commercials?
They're coming. Terry Christensen.
You said here as in past tense.
Well, maybe. Terry Christensen does those for us. He's never actually been on our show, but he does do those for us. And he made a request, and he wanted to hear the Blues Brothers. She Caught the Katy, and that is the first track off of the soundtrack to the movie Blues Brothers.
Oh, hey, let's play that.
Let's do that here on Radio Nowhere, WJBD. I've not listened to a Blues Brothers song in a long time.
Neither have I.
I'm glad Terry Christensen requested a proper request.
First song on an album.
Yep. She Caught the Katy from the Blues Brothers movie soundtrack. And that's lead vocals by Jake Blues with Elwood on
backup.
And, on harmonica, I was going to say, but there you go.
Hey, do you want to call Steve real quick and see if he did want to hear that other Debbie Gibson song?
I would like to, but anytime we've tried to call in the past, his phone has been off.
Huh.
And I don't know why, because you would think if he's not going to be here, he would at least leave his phone on.
In case of emergencies.
Or confusion.
Right.
Like this. And here's the thing. We have actually got time to play a Debbie Gibson song.
Ooh.
So let's give Steve, 15 seconds to call?
30.
30 seconds. All right. If Steve can call in 30 seconds and tell us which Debbie Gibson song he wants to, because
that's a proper song.
That's a proper song. I mean, hopefully as our producer, he's at least listening.
You would think if he can't be here in person that he's not so far away he couldn't. Like when I'm out of town, I am out of radio signal range. But
right.
If I was not going to show up tonight because I was sick or something, I'd have the radio on.
Well, I would hope so. So
16 more seconds.
Yep. And he can call my cell phone, your cell phone, the radio station.
Yeah, I didn't turn my ringer off for some reason. Usually I do.
I've got my ringer up, and it's right next to the microphone. So if it goes off here in the next 10 seconds. Then we're going to hear it, and Steve can tell us what he wants to hear,
yeah.
Debbie Gibson-wise.
Right. First track.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to just break the rules.
Obviously not. All right, no call.
No.
So we're going to have to wrap things up.
I wonder if his cell phone's down. I know there were some people said that I was talking to today that had some cell phone trouble.
That's probably what it was.
I'm sure.
He got his wires crossed. Figuratively speaking, I guess.
Right.
So, well, we're going to wrap things up. It has been a fun night. We have been doing side one, track one, and hopefully you've got to hear some music you don't usually get to hear on WJBD or on other radio stations as well.
And maybe you learned a little something about, because a lot of times you think about how a lot of times the first track is a title track, but a lot of times it's not.
Right, and how it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the album.
Yeah.
Now, tonight we've also learned a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks.
Correct.
A little bit about Tom Morello filling in for or sitting in with Bruce Springsteen. We've learned that Steve doesn't know how to follow directions.
Well, I don't know that that's a new lesson.
We didn't learn that.
We've reestablished. We've reaffirmed.
Okay, and just to make it up to him, we should play a Debbie Gibson song right now. So, if you like what you heard, tell a friend.
And if you don't like what you heard, don't tell anyone.
Ever. So, Debbie Gibson, on WJBD will not be heard, so we can bring you, what is this?
Oh, it's off the Killers' Hot Fuzz CD, and Jenny was a friend of mine. Real
Awesome.
Good first track.
Oh, great first track.
First track.
And this is our last song.
Huh.
WJBD Salem, Centralia.
This has been an I Love Raisins production.
ABC News Now.